Hello governors, size the 23rd year. Today's video we are going to look at my favorite epic commanders. Yes, this video has been pending a long term and I've decided to do it now. Now when it comes to upgrading your commanders and when in the start of the game, it's always good to use the markswoman, which she comes for free, and the moment she comes and you start hitting the barbarians, make sure that you get this insight talent. This will reduce the cost of action points, which means you could hunt more barbarians with your limited action points. So always go for this insight first with markswoman. Why we should be using markswoman in the start of the game is because your other commanders, epic commanders, if they level up, they would ask you to add stars, and there is a possibility that you might open the second skill without maxing out the first skill of your epic commander that comes along with your civilization, let's say Boudica. So let's jump into the topic. My favorite three epic commanders. Now when it comes to my favorite, I'm going to talk about the PvP commanders separately and the barbarian commanders, the peacekeeping commanders separately. And as we all know, Lohar is the best barbarian hunter and we should be using him as primary to hunt barbarians, and whichever commander you prefer to level up quicker, you should pair him as second to Lohar. And so here comes the best pair. My first epic commander that I would use if I start an account is Sun Tzu. Yes, I would pair Lohar with Sun Tzu and develop Sun Tzu first. So what happens in the start of the game, like when you get your say if you get Boudica in your civilization, and you will have markswoman also. Once I get Boudica to level 10, I will stop using her for hunting barbarians. Now I'll wait for a skill to be up. Till then, if I use Boudica to hunt barbarians, I won't gain any XP points because she's level 10 and she would require stars and to add more XP. And if you add star without maxing the first skill, then you would open the second skill and your sculptures added might not get you as much value. So we'll be using markswoman until your Boudica, or say whatever commander you get in your civilization, maxes out the first skill. And then after that, when you get Lohar, you use Lohar with the first commander. The best commander to use in my opinion is Sun Tzu. And once you get Sun Tzu to level 10, again you should stop using him, and the next best commander to be used in my opinion is Kusunoki. Yes, here I'm going to differ. Say Pelagius I used to suggest before, but what the problem with Pelagius is he doesn't have speed much. So if you use him as primary, when you use him as primary, then in the PvP situation, then you might not be able to get out of the battle as quick as Belisarius could. Yes, now we have to level up Belisarius. Now there are two main things we have to take into consideration when we are developing the commanders. One is leveling up a commander from his talents, the other is leveling up a commander with the skills. Now these commanders that I'm suggesting, Sun Tzu is for leveling up. So for the first commander, you should level up quickly, like this level 60 with more talent points is Sun Tzu. You need to get him to level 60 as quick as possible, but do not rush without maxing out the first skill. And it's better to skip the second skill of Sun Tzu and open the third and the fourth skill all together, so that your sculptures added has more probability of getting into the third and fourth skill. So always remember that your leveling up commanders is the primary commander. You should be using your leveling up commanders as primary commanders, and it's always first best commander that I would like to prefer to go for is Sun Tzu. The next one is Kusunoki. The third one that I would like to level up is Joan of Arc. I have made a separate video on Joan of Arc already, and I strongly suggest to refrain from going for gathering tree on Joan of Arc. This is the tree that I would recommend for Joan of Arc when it comes to Arc of Osiris, or if you are doing open field and if you have a lot of mates, your opponents are equal or lower than your power, then this tree will help you a lot. Pairing her with Richard, or say Sun Tzu as secondary, or Pelagius, any healing commander as secondary would benefit a lot. So the first commander that I would recommend is Sun Tzu, the second best commander that I would recommend is Kusunoki, and the third best commander is Joan of Arc, and this is the order in which you should be leveling up their talents. I'm not talking about the skills, but when it comes to skills, the first best commander to skill up is your Osman. Why Osman? Is because of the troop capacity he gives and a lot of nuking. Now this thing, after using an active skill, his third skill, so every time you use an active skill, he's going to nuke of a damage factor of 400, which means after your primary commander nukes, he's going to nuke 400. After the secondary commander nukes, he's going to nuke 400. It's best to use him as secondary commander, so it's not necessary to use him for bob hunting. You just stop him at level 30, add 4 stars, and just wait for his skills to be maxed out. He's the best secondary commander. You could use him as second to any commanders, just like YSG. You could use him as second to infantry or cavalry or archers. So this is the first commander you should be concentrating on getting the skills up. Why this should be the first commander is because if you want to get ahead in expedition quickly, you need a lot of nuking, damaging factors. Your DPS needs to be high, and the best commander in the epic that could give you a lot of DPS is Osman. So you have to get him up, and if you use him in expedition, you will get ahead very quickly. The second best commander to level skill up is Boudica. Again, the skill value, the damage factor from her first skill, and also her healing capabilities, her rage restoration capabilities, and reducing the rage of the enemy and attack of the enemy. She has got absolute value. The second best commander you should skill up. I'm not talking about the talents here. I already told you with respect to talents, the first one to talent up is Sun Tzu, the second is Kusunoki, and the third is Joan of Arc. Of course, we'll be using these three commanders, the Sun Tzu, Kusunoki, and Joan of Arc, as secondary for hunting barbarians, along with Lohar, Boudica, and Belisarius. So we have one infantry commander here and one archer commander here leveling up. One infantry is Sun Tzu, one archer commander is Kusunoki, and we have Belisarius, who is leveling up for your cavalry. So Belisarius is an all-rounder. He is not only good at hunting barbarians, we will also be using him PvP. Previously I used to suggest to use Pelagius, but now I'm changing to Belisarius because of the speed he offers. So if Pelagius is got caught up being swarmed up by a lot of troops, he doesn't have much speed to escape from the battle, whereas if you use Belisarius, he has a lot of speed to escape from the battle. So it's always good to use Pelagius as a PvP primary commander, and maybe you could use Pelagius as secondary to Belisarius to add more damage factor. So what we would do is we will level up Belisarius, but we will skill up Pelagius. So we will not need Pelagius to be more than level 30 initially. Later you can make him to level 60. He is very useful in Sunset Canyon. Of course, inside Sunset Canyon you can use him as primary, but when it comes to PvP, most of the time you're about to be swarmed, and cavalry is mostly about speed, and then comes the damage. So Belisarius is the best commander to use for it. So we will have developing your commanders Lohar with Sun Tzu as in the first slot, and then we will have Boudica with Kusunoki on your second slot, and Belisarius with Joan of Arc in the third slot. So that's how we should be developing an account. While developing an account, you should always do this. This is how I would set up. I'm going to set up this again. This I have set up now in this account for other reasons. Now I will show you this Sun Tzu. I'm just searching for Sun Tzu here. Sun Tzu, I'm going to put it in the first slot. This should be your first slot for everyday bob hunting, and then you would see I'm already using this same combo here, Lohar, Boudica, and Belisarius. And the thing about Sun Tzu and Belisarius is that and all the peacekeeping commanders, that you will be using them a lot, even in the late game. Actually, after Guan Yu, the use for Sun Tzu slowly is depreciating, but when it comes to Belisarius, he has absolute value even in the late game. Now I'm setting up the third slot with Belisarius and Joan of Arc here. Then they'll throw the cavalry inside. Oh no, not the third slot. So these should be the things you should be hunting your barbarians with. And always remember, if you rush a lot of XP points into your epic commanders, they would ask for stars and you would not have all the stars you need. So it's always good to go for 2 epics and 1 legendary at a time. Too many legendaries also will ask you for a lot of gold stars. Too many epics also will ask you for a lot of epic stars, and these stars do not flow as easy as it would be easy to level up your commanders. So always take care of this initially. Until you get them to level 30, you could always use this combo, and after that, once you get your legendary, you might use a secondary to Belisarius or something. And then whenever you get your Sun Tzu or say Kusunoki, you want to level up the skill, you want to wait, and maybe you can swap your Joan of Arc as secondary to Boudica until Kusunoki's skill is up, and you don't want to add the star until his skill is up and all those stuffs. So the 3 main commanders I already told you. I'm going to give you the talent trees for them, and how to skill up them. And with regards to skilling up for infantry, it's always good to first, as I said, you would be skilling up Osman. The second best thing is to go for Boudica. The third best thing to skill up would be Pelagius, and then the fourth thing to skill up max is your Sun Tzu. Your epic commanders, universal sculptures, you should be throwing in this order to have more firepower and get ahead in expedition quicker. And then when it comes to the skills, you should skip the second skill of the Sun Tzu and directly open the fourth skill. And for opening the fourth skill, of course, you're going to need a lot of stars. Until you open the fourth skill, do not add sculptures to him. But before opening the second or third or fourth skill, make sure that your first skill is 5 and then add stars. And when it comes to Kusunoki, again, the second is for garrisoning, so skip it. After you get this to 5, you go to the fourth skill directly. Here again, he has a value. Sun Tzu, you would see he would boost the skill damage bonus on the fourth skill, whereas Kusunoki would directly do damage from the skill. So they are both very useful. They are both our AoE commanders, and they have a lot of value in Sunset and in Expedition 2. So get Sun Tzu, Kusunoki and Joan of Arc to level 60 first. So, and with respect to the talent tree, this is how I made. Oh no, this is not the best tree. This is the best tree for Sun Tzu. This is the best tree for Sun Tzu. Initially, first thing you should be going for is rejuvenate. The second thing you should be going on is for clarity. So you don't need to go to the infantry tree when your account is new, because you won't have enough infantry troops to fill the march completely. So that infantry side you should be going next. And the final thing you should go for is the garrison. You won't benefit much from garrison talents initially. So the first thing is you have to go for is rejuvenate. Second thing is to go for clarity. The third thing to go for is iron spears, because you'll be using Sun Tzu to hit cavalry, and by the time you level him up to get to this talent, you will have enough marches of infantry to fill the troop. So you should go for iron spears, then you should go for undying fury, then go for the hold the line and strong body, and then later you could go for garrison 2. Now many people would prefer to go for feral nature. They want to tune him completely for open field, but I would suggest you to go this way, because the value that it adds by getting the feral nature is not so good as what value Sun Tzu would give from garrison. Why? Because he has a garrison talent which is damage reduction. He is absolutely a very good garrison commander. He will be very useful for you in your arc, say. And then if you have to, say, for emergency purpose, other good guys are off, you want to save the flag or something, you could always use Sun Tzu. And if you see the talents how they have designed it, the more top you go to, the value it adds decreases. I mean, whenever you're near this initial places, the buffs are too strong, and when you go more on the end, the buffs gets very specific. They act on a very specific purpose. So when it comes to here feral nature, as you see, he would add only rage there, and that too on a 10% chance basis. But whereas in the starting, with the starting buffs, if you see, there is a 6% damage increase. That's a continuous damage increase, which is far better than your 10% chance. And then there is a 6% damage reduction, which is absolutely a better value. So whenever you see in the initial start of the talents, they have more value than the talents on the end. So this is the best tree for Sun Tzu. This Sun Tzu will be as good as the Sun Tzu with feral nature or without feral nature. You could try it. The difference won't be much, but the value you get from using these talents will be absolutely beautiful. When it comes to the talent tree of Kusunoki, I would suggest not to go for garrison, because archers are not good garrison guys. Let me see, I think you have to go for feral nature, and then you have to go for venomous sting, of course, because the secondary commander, most probably if you use a legendary commander, archer commander, archers will obviously have a lot of skill damage bonus, skill damages from your skills. So this sting, venomous sting, will help you boost the skill damage of your archer. So the first thing to go for is, of course, again rejuvenate, and then the clarity, and then go for the venomous sting, and then feral nature, and this full quiver comes later. When it comes to Joanne of Arc, I already made a separate video on that, and here you have this tree on her. So these are my three best commanders. Always remember, when you are going to use a commander as second, he doesn't need to be more than level 30. Say for Osman, he doesn't need to be more than 30. He doesn't need more than 4 stars or even 3 stars. Once you open the 4th skill, that's when you stop adding stars. You'll be running out of stars very quickly in the initial game, so don't misjudge it, don't mismanage it. You will be crying for other thing. And here again, Baibar is a very good secondary commander. Initially you don't need him to get to level 60. If you're in Arabia civilization, you would of course get his sculptures and you could skill him up easily, but do not level him up, because you need those stars for, say, Belisarius and Pelagius. And it's better to get Pelagius to level 60 before Baibar. I would strongly suggest, because he has more rage restoration here. He has a healing factor, and he has defense and attack, which is an absolute beautiful thing. So the first commander I would recommend to max out is, of course, with respect to skills, is Pelagius. To level up is Belisarius. Once you get Belisarius first skill to 5, open all the skills and try adding the sculptures. Any skill that gets added up is good with respect to Belisarius, and same is the case with Boudica and Lohar. And but with respect to Joanne, I would suggest you should, Joanne too, you could do 5 1 1 1 and then art stars. I don't see any specific commander who would require. Hermann, okay, people like Hermann a lot. They have Germany. I would suggest to use him as secondary commander and use Kusunoki as primary commander. And when it comes to Hermann, always see through the when it comes to epics and archers, always get this venomous sting that would help the second commander to do a lot of skill damage bonus. And you could use him as secondary to Kusunoki. I would suggest to use Kusunoki as primary and concentrate on Kusunoki first, because for the AoE value, this would help you a lot in getting ahead in expedition. So with respect to EULG, yes, EULG has got a better value. He has a attack tree, and I often find EULG used as primary in the front row of Sunset, performing a lot better than Sun Tzu. And it's good to get him to level 60, but Sun Tzu has got a very versatile value. He has got AoE, he has kill damage bonus, and many things, skill damage, normal damage reduction. So he has got a lot of things going on for him, and so you go for Eulji after your Sun Tzu. Prioritize on Sun Tzu. And then with respect to Kira, I would suggest, yeah, she is very good commander in the start of the game. If you are lucky enough to recruit her early, maybe you could use her as a third or fourth march, or whenever your Boudica is waiting to skill up and you want to use another commander. If Boudica doesn't have enough stars, maybe then you could use Kira till you get enough stars for Boudica. And same is the case with Belisarius. In case you're stuck with stars, then you could use Kira as prime. With respect to Scipio, he is also a very good secondary commander. Many would like to level him up quick. If you choose Rome, you would get his sculptures, and I've seen a lot of people hunting barbarians with him. The downside of hunting barbarians with him is that he would consume a lot of action points, and so he would drain the action points much faster than your peacekeeping commander. So you will end up hunting lesser barbarians with CPU. So you could hunt like 30% more barbarians. If you hunt, say, like you hunt 25 barbarians with CPU, if you use a peacekeeping commander, you would be able to hunt, say, at least another 10 more, like 35 or 34 more barbarians, 10 more barbarians. So 10 more barbarians is almost like if you're hunting a 25 level barbarians, all level 10s, or say a 20 level, let's take it as an average 22 level barbarian. If you hunt 10 of those, you would get 440k resources. Yes, it's almost 500,000 resources by hunting 22 level barbarians, 10 more, which means if you use a peacekeeping commander instead of CPO, just by hunting barbarians, one session of barbarian hunting can get you 500k more resources, 400k more resources. So don't use CPO as primary. Not just resources, you also get a lot of XP, like 4,400 into 10 is like 40k XP. Yes, you would get 40 or even say 60k XP because of the bonuses from the peacekeeping talent tree, which adds you more XP. For example, if you use Boudica, she would give from a skill itself 20% more XP. And if you see inside the tree, there is something called quick study, which adds 15% more XP. So which means your 4,000 add your 4, I think, let me check with the reports. I could see here how many XP you would gain by hunting barbarians. Here you see here you get around 2,300 for hunting your level 23 barbarian. So which means 2,300. So if you add like 10 more, you will get 23k more XP. And if you add another 15%, let's check. I don't think I have let me check. Yeah, here. So this 4,200 is added 15%. So this is also going to be increased for 10 barbarians more. You're going to get another 40k here, another 40k from here. So it's going to be like 25k, 40k. So it's like 65k, around 100k experience more if you use a peacekeeping commander. 400k resources, 100k XP. So please don't use a non-peacekeeping commander. I was just carried away. Now let's get back into my top picks. So for leveling up, as I said, Sun Tzu first, Kusunoki next, and your Joanna of Arc next. And then I'm not suggesting here Belisarius, because we already are using Lohar and Boudica and Belisarius as primary to these commanders, so they will also be leveling up. When it comes to adding universal sculptures for leveling up their skills, I told you first to go for Osman, next is to go for Boudica, and third you should be going for Joanna of Arc. Now the logic behind going for Joanna of Arc is for the buffs of the other marches. You need these buffs for your other marches. Say you got Sun Tzu and Kusunoki and your Belisarius. out for fighting, Joan of Arc would buff all these marches and also add those 50 rage per second. So she is necessary to be skilled up very quick. That is after Boudica, or even before Boudica if you prefer skilling up Joan of Arc. There's nothing wrong with it. Now next, when it comes to CPU, do not use him as primary commander, do not level him up, cause CPU doesn't have a skill tree, so which means he could not pop his first skill very often, which is the most necessary, which powerful skill he offers. This 25% damage reduction and counter attack damage bonus lasts for 5 seconds. So if you use it with say Sun Tzu, this would be almost for continuous, like Sun Tzu would use his skill every 7 seconds. So if you use a CPU as second to him, that is going to be like out of 7 seconds, 5 seconds this buff is going to be up. So the average of this values is going to be more with Sun Tzu. If you use CPU as primary, he is going to use the skill say 8 or 9 seconds once. So it's better to use him CPU as secondary to any of these commanders, say Sun Tzu or Kusunoki or even Joan of Arc. If you want to use with Joan of Arc, use Joan of Arc as primary. She is a very beautiful commander. When you use her as primary, she would use the skill like every 6 seconds. She is better than Sun Tzu. She could use skills more often than Sun Tzu, and so use her as primary and CPU as secondary. And of course, with any other commander who has a skill tree, it's better to use CPU as secondary. CPU's main skills are his first and the fourth skill, and his best use is with Richard and Sun Tzu. CPU is more infantry oriented guy. It's best to use him as secondary to infantry commanders. So I think I covered everything. That's it about this in this video, and take care of your XP and stars. So, and that's about it in this video. Thanks for watching in full. Please do share and subscribe my channel, share the channel with your friends. Thanks a lot guys. Bye bye.